I bumped into one of the homeboys, and he was kind of happy to see me. Kind of caught me off guard because, understanding that, I'm okay with pretty much everybody, but, it's still a few people that you don't get a chance to actually, sit around and chop it up with. You speak to them and you keep going. But anyway, this homeboy here was a little adamant about something he ran into on the big scale tip. And he was like, man, hey man, I got to talk to you about something. He asked me, do I know this guy? And I was like, man, I know a lot of guys because, you understand that Florida ain't but so big. You got from Pensacola to Jacksonville, from Jacksonville to Collier County, and it's 67 counties. And I pride myself on knowing somebody in every county. So he was asking me about a guy. The name was so common that it was hard for me to put a face to the name. But he was like, this guy, we bumped into this guy, and we was out gambling, and the guy told us that, he knew you and that you was a good guy. And if y'all his homeboy, y'all my homeboy. But if y'all see him, I'm gonna drop some on y'all. Y'all see him, tell him to come holler at me. So these guys actually made a connection with a guy that I was familiar with that I actually wanted to see. But me and him made real good friends when we was on the inside. But, again, I left and my mind was going like 1,000 miles an hour. I was wondering, trying to put this name with this face. And I just couldn't do it. So finally, I actually bumped into an idea in my head. And I was like, God, yeah, I know him good. But, I was already like 7 or 8 hours away. So I kept that in my mind for a few weeks, and I ended up going back home. And when I went back home, I saw the guy again, and he actually had the chance to call the guy, but he didn't. He called another one of my homeboys and his homeboys to tell him that he wanted me to see the guy. And he wanted to stand on his word to tell the guy that, hey, I'm gonna bring him to you. But he called one of me and his mutual homeboy from the same place, and my homeboy and his homeboy didn't know that I was standing there. And I heard him telling the homeboy on the phone, we were sitting in his car, and the guy said, don't tell him where the guy at. We ain't gonna take him to the guy. Let him get it from us. And I heard the guy say that, and I ain't never spoke to that guy again. But one of my homeboys and another good friend of mine, and y'all keep hearing me call his name Fat Boy, actually went to Miami and saw my guy. And my guy asked Fat Boy, hey, do y'all know Countryboy? And he was like, yeah, I know Countryboy. That's my main man. And he say, tell him where I'm at and tell him to come see me. I never got a chance to see him because after some years, he ended up getting caught with a lot of, work around the Tampa area or whatever. And he ended up committing suicide while he was out on bond. But these are just some of the things you do when you out trying to find somebody, to run into somebody to make it. I met another guy in Tallahassee, and me and him ended up becoming good friends. And it's okay for me to name drop because it's been a lot of years or whatever, but his name was Black. And when me and him bumped into each other, how we bumped into each other, we ended up getting out, making that become a partnership. I mean, a real good partnership too. So, you see certain people and you learn to keep the BS away from certain people. And then it's another element that come to the game where you could see a guy and see he kind of timid, and you see he don't know what's going on, and he kind of shook up about that. And I ran into one of those guys, and instantly I knew that I was gonna wash him up. I knew I was gonna wash him up. The first time I saw him, I was with a friend, and he was, a loud talking person, and he was acting real arrogant. Man, I got this, I got that. All y'all got to do is call me and this and that or whatever. And when y'all call me, look, I'm gonna tell y'all where to be. Y'all stay there until I get there. Y'all country, blah, blah, country this and country that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fix him one. So I went to go see this guy, and I made a particular order with him. And he told me, okay, remember what I told y'all? Y'all come to such and such and stay there where I told y'all to stay at. So he don't know we was laying wait for him. Me and another one of my country homeboys, we met him in a particular spot. And when he got in the back seat, I had the cue to tell my homeboy, look, when I take my hat off, I'm driving. When I take my hat off, I'm gonna take him to a designated area, and then you present that. You present that wolf to him, you know what I'm saying? And just make sure he understand that this real. So when he jumped in the back seat and he had that load with him, you know, I took him to a particular spot. And my homeboy, when I took my hat off my head, scratched my head, he showed it to him. And when he showed it to him, he got in the missionary position in the back seat. Hold it, man. Hold it. What you doing, man? Man, please, man. Man, don't do, man, look, man, you can have it, man. Oh, man, I got the money, man. Oh, y'all can, man, please, man, don't do that, man. Man, but I say, tell him to get out. Get out. Hop out. He was like, man, no, don't do me like that, man. Just pull over and let me get out. I'm gonna get out. I ain't got time to stop. Look, man, get him out of here. My homeboy reached in the back seat and opened the car door, and boom, he jumped out. And he was tumbling. I'm looking in the back seat, and we veer off. And we veer off. But, you know, these type of things happen sometime. Whether it could be me or anybody, because you see these type of things and you see people, anybody in the streets that's out in the streets, they'll tell you the same thing. The rules gonna always apply. You got so many arrogant people trying to hide you from the plug. They don't want you to meet the guy that they getting it from.